Alright, so it's just before 5 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. Gotta head out to work soon. And I don't know if you can see that clock, 4:53. So I'm just gonna make a quick cup of coffee. And I don't know why I'm whispering, I guess because everyone else is asleep, but yeah, I had to go in a little bit earlier than normal to work. I gotta drive to the warehouse. I'm like, crap, I wanted to write for an hour. So I turned on my computer here. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm gonna write, I don't know, for the next 15-20 minutes or whatever, but I have to take off to work. But I also made a promise of myself to write every single day. So this is probably the hardest time to write when you know you have to go to work early. Every once in a while that happens. But I don't want it to cost me sitting down to write my book. So I don't know what I'm going to write this morning. But maybe a little book inspiration. I call that the inspirational pods right here. Maybe one of these will actually help me writing. I have an idea. I had another idea for another bird, but it's not actual bird. It's similar to the bat, but it's actually an egg. So you don't know what type of book it is you're gonna read, or what type of book you're gonna write. Nothing like that. It's just an egg. And an egg represents, and this is just something that just popped into my head while I was sleeping. An egg is the lack of experience that you have to write your book. And it came about because I told a friend last night that I'm writing a book, and as I was explaining it, I'm like, this is the worst book on the planet. And that thought hit me. I shouldn't say on the planet, but as I was saying it to him, my pitch, even though it wasn't a pitch, wasn't sharp. It was like I was doubting what I was writing. And I kept saying words like, this is my first time, and I'm working on it, and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, who's this guy? Who's this imposter that's speaking? Because yesterday morning, I felt pretty confident writing my book. And then last night, as soon as I started talking about my book, I realized, who in the world am I to write a book? And that's what I felt he was saying, even though he was encouraging. It's weird how we try to self-sabotage ourselves. So I hit a bit of a roadblock when I woke up this morning. I'm like, I need experience first before I write my book. That's the first thought that hit my head this morning when I rolled out of bed. And I've been writing now for the past month, every single day, and studying what other authors have written. I've been reading blogs, all kinds of stuff, and a lot of them say the same thing, is you just gotta write. Experienced writers, brand new writers, they say the same thing. They're all like, you gotta write. So I'm doing that, and then all of a sudden I get hit this morning with, you should have experience before you write your first book. Then I'm thinking about that logically. I'm like, well, how do you write your first book unless you write your first book? So that's what the egg represents. And I'm not sure where to put the egg in the story, but I think I'm on to something with it, because again, you're going to get hit with, you don't even know what the subject is, you don't know what the title is, you don't have a character, you don't have anything. You have almost like a blank canvas, and all you're doing is just staring at the computer. But the egg represents that unknown, that feeling that you don't know. You don't know if this egg is going to live. You don't know if this egg is going to hatch. This egg might just stay there, and it may never get cracked open. You don't know if it's a chicken hawk in there. Maybe you found a nest full of chicken hawks and you don't even know it. Maybe this is the springboard that allows you to write more books and to make a residual income. I think that's one of there's a couple of motivations for me when I'm writing this book. One is obviously if I move on to the next world after this life, my kids, friends, family, whatever can read my book. And hopefully I've written more than one book, but they can read it. It's like a legacy that you leave behind. Another thing is residual income. Even if I make an extra $100 a month, a few $1,000s extra a year from that one book, I can always create a second book and a third book and a fourth book. So that is my part of my motivation. Plus I want to know how to do it. I want to know how to write a book, because if you want to become an expert, to me it helps that you actually if you have a book and you're going into an office or whatever it is and you tell somebody you wrote a book, I think that your status kind of gets moved up a notch, because it's not easy to write a book. Look at all the obstacles you have to face. I don't think you have to face as many obstacles. I've done sales. It might be equivalent. Sales could be very close, especially when you're brand new and you sit down at the desk. It feels like you have a spoon in hand and you're cracking the egg and you're trying to figure out, geez, I don't even know what to say on the phone. All that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's just interesting how obstacles, and I didn't see the egg coming. I didn't see it. I think it just rolled right off the table onto the floor. Splat. The good news is all you have to do is crack the egg. Once you crack the egg, which is sitting down and writing, you can actually figure out how to finish that book. So this is more of a video for myself to say, Shane, you can do it. You can write the book. You have everything in your head to write it. Don't stop. There you go.